Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's boardzy, and I don't remember the last time I have been so heavily requested to do a mousepad review. This is going to be a review of the Zowie GSR-SE ROUGE, a new and improved GSR-SE. I look at this as more of a product refresh with just a few improved features, because really, if you've had a GSR-SE, you know the experience that you're in for in terms of glide, but this pad does seem to actually improve on the inconsistency issues that obviously plague the GSR-SE when there are changes in humidity and temperature. So in around 2 months of using this mousepad, obviously I've not been using it every single day, but I've definitely used it more than any other pad in this time. And I have nothing negative to report about the consistency or any type of slowdown on the GSR-SE ROUGE. While I was just testing in the past week the original GSR-SE, if I'm using that for a few hours, I can already feel it start to slow down in the area where I'm using my mouse the most. And you might wonder, like, these pads look the exact same. What did they change to do that? And I'm not exactly sure. And I would presume it is due to changes in both the texture of the mouse pad and the base. I'll show the base later on, but it's just a bit less stiff of a pad in general than the original GSR-SE. But yeah, this texture, I said before, you know what you're in for if you've had a GSR-SE. And that's true, but it's definitely different. You can easily notice that the GSR-SE ROUGE feels smoother to the touch than the original GSR-SE does. So if you're looking for a smoother, slightly less rough cloth pad, this is an option, but it's still not as smooth as something like a Zowie PA. Another thing you can notice with the GSR-SE ROUGE is that the initial friction is lower than the original GSR-SE, but I still would not call this low initial friction for a cloth pad. Because something like the Artisan Zero, it will be easier to get your mouse moving, but this is just a touch faster than the original, I would say. Definitely enough speed for games like Fortnite, anything where you're using your mouse a lot, but it's still going to be controlled motions. The dynamic friction is not extremely low by any means. This pad just falls in between the Zowie PA and the original GSR-SE in terms of feeling. These are the Lethal Gaming Gear glass skates, and I just don't really recommend them for a pad like this. It just feels like a dense glide experience. So yeah, if you have glass skates, I wouldn't really recommend it, but PTFE, whether it's aftermarket or just stock skates like I have on the Viper V2 Pro, it's just been a solid, safe, controlled mousepad experience. So just think of a GSR-SE with better consistency and just a touch faster in all aspects, but still not a completely smoothed out control pad. There still is some grit to it, but a softer surface in general. I really don't need to overcomplicate it much more than that. Another change they did make, though, is with the base. I don't know how to really demonstrate this on camera without looking like a spastic, but there is just a bit more stiffness. I would say a higher density foam in the original GSR-SE. Both pads use the same base material, but it just seems like the original GSR-SE has a bit more stiffness to it, which could have something to do with the humidity issues, or maybe they just wanted to make a slightly plushier pad. I'll do a lighter test on both mouse pads now. I don't think there will be a massively noticeable difference. Never mind, honestly. You can tell that the ROUGE has a bit more plushness to it. So yeah, I think that is a pretty positive change overall. If you have a GSR-SE, do you absolutely need to get this? No. But if your GSR-SE is worn down, you notice the inconsistency, then it's possibly worth upgrading to the ROUGE. Or you could always go with the Zowie PA, which is a similar price, similar size. I think these pads, actually no, the PA is a bit bigger, but the GSR-SE is 470 by 390 by 3.5 millimeters. So yeah, there aren't exactly the largest mouse pads. These are all pretty similar styles of control pads with no stitched edges. They could potentially be made in the same factory using the same base. But yeah, that's honestly besides the point. All things considered, the GSR-SE ROUGE is a pretty big improvement over the original GSR-SE, in my opinion. I don't know how the like very long-term durability can pan out. Obviously the pad just hasn't been out long enough, but I've definitely put moderate to heavy use on this pad, and it has shown no signs of wear. The old GSR-SE, it's not a pad that I could main, especially living in a humid place during summertime. It just got too slow, and the inconsistency is hard to deal with, but the ROUGE definitely improved in that aspect. Also being a touch faster and lower initial friction in general, just made it nice for Fortnite and even like just Kovac scenarios, bro. I don't know, games are so dead. What do I even play nowadays? I do want to be clear though, if you do play a slower paced game and are used to the control of the GSR-SE, you will still be absolutely fine on this. It's not a significant change in speed enough to really make it, like, you might have a small adjustment period, but you're not going to never be able to adjust because, like I said, these pads are very similar. I just view this as a product refresh with some welcome changes, but the price point, $35 for a pad that is like on the smaller end and does not have stitched edges, it's not a great value. I would say something like the Lethal Gaming Gear Saturn at $30 is a better value. But I can't deny that this has been a high quality mouse pad right out of the box. It was perfectly flat. There is some slight fraying, but it's nothing I'm really concerned about. I'm sure given the fact that the GSR-SE didn't have a massive fraying issue, that this updated batch won't. But yeah, overall, it seems high quality. The base is like really good, stuck to my desk, and there's been no inconsistency issues yet. And in my time using this pad, I've honestly enjoyed it. It's been safe across the board, really, besides glass skates, like I mentioned. It's fast enough for fast-paced games, controlled enough for slower games. So yeah, it's really just a balanced pad like what the GSR-SE was before the humidity issues kicked in. So I'm not going to give this pad the seal of approval, but it's probably right in the tier below. So I'm not going to be like maining this pad, but definitely a solid option if you're into cloth mouse pads of this style. So that's going to be all for this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and if you have any other questions, make sure to let me know in the comments below. But yeah, that's all. Peace.